The ongoing legal case connected to the late rapper King Von has once again taken center stage in the hip-hop world. What began as a tragic story of loss has now developed into a complex courtroom drama as new details continue to surface. Recent reports suggest that a key witness has come forward with statements that could potentially shift the direction of the entire case. And this time, the testimony has brought Lil Durk's name back into the spotlight. Fans and followers of both artists know that their stories have been deeply intertwined, from their close friendship to their shared rise in the Chicago rap scene. However, this new twist has raised countless questions across social media and among the music community. What exactly did the witness say? Could this testimony impact Durk's public image or legal standing? Or is it simply another moment of speculation that has been amplified by online chatter? According to early courtroom updates, the new statement reportedly connects events and individuals that investigators have been re-examining for months. While no official verdict or charge has been made in relation to Lil Durk following this testimony, the mention of his name has already reignited public debate. Supporters are calling for patience and facts, while critics are demanding clarity on what this could mean for the broader case involving King Von's legacy. The development serves as yet another reminder of how deeply the streets, fame, and the legal system can collide in the modern music industry. Many fans feel torn, celebrating the success these artists achieved while mourning the conflicts that shadowed their journey. With emotions running high, it's clear that this story is far from over. As the investigation unfolds, the world is watching closely to see whether this new testimony truly changes the direction of the case or fades as another chapter in hip-hop's ongoing saga of fame and controversy. In the world of hip-hop, stories often start with pain, ambition, and the hunger to escape the streets. For King Von and Lil Durk, that story was no different. Their bond wasn't built in boardrooms or record label offices. It was forged in the rough streets of Chicago, where survival was never guaranteed and loyalty meant everything. Before the fame, before the headlines, they were just two young men trying to turn struggle into something greater. King Von, born Davon Bennett in Chicago's South Side, was known for his sharp storytelling and raw, unfiltered lyrics. Every verse he rapped painted vivid pictures of life in O Block, a place that shaped his identity and defined his music. He wasn't just telling stories. He was reliving memories of hardship, loyalty, betrayal, and survival. His talent caught attention fast. Even before he signed a record deal, Von's freestyles and street presence made him a local legend. Enter Lil Durk, a name already established in Chicago's rap scene. Derek Banks had been rising through the ranks since the early 2010s, blending emotional honesty with street realism. He wasn't just another rapper. He was the voice of an entire generation from Chicago's South Side. Through his label, Only the Family, ODF, Durk began helping other artists from his community, and that's where King Von came into the picture. Durk saw potential in Von, not just as an artist, but as a person who understood what it meant to come from the trenches. Their connection was more like brothers than label mates. Von often referred to Durk as his big bro, someone who guided him both in life and in music. Their chemistry was undeniable, from collaborations like Crazy Story to the energy they brought on stage together. Fans could feel that bond. But as fast as fame came, so did controversy. The streets they came from didn't forget them, and neither did the system. Both had histories marked by arrests, investigations, and media scrutiny. Yet, instead of letting that define them, they poured it into their art. It made their music more authentic, more believable. People didn't just listen to Von and Durk, they believed them. By 2019, King Von's career was taking off. His storytelling skills set him apart from the drill rappers of his era. He could switch from aggression to emotion in a heartbeat. Songs like Took Her to the O and 3 a.m. showed he wasn't just a street rapper, he was a narrator of the streets. Meanwhile, Lil Durk's career was reaching new heights as he collaborated with major artists and slowly crossed into mainstream hip-hop. Together, they represented the new wave of Chicago rap. Authentic, fearless, and unstoppable. But behind the success was a growing shadow. Fame had brought exposure, but it had also reopened old wounds and rivalries. Rumors swirled online about past conflicts, street ties, and personal feuds. The line between rap lyrics and real-life events became increasingly blurred. Reporters, bloggers, and even law enforcement started paying close attention. And then came the turning point, an incident that would change everything for both men. In early 2019, an altercation outside an Atlanta nightclub set off a chain of events that would pull Lil Durk and King Von into a serious legal battle. What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into chaos, leaving one man injured and both rappers facing major criminal charges. The media ran wild with headlines, and the internet was filled with speculation. Fans were divided. Some swore by their innocence, while others feared the worst. Despite the legal challenges, their loyalty never wavered. King Von stood by Durk through every headline, every hearing, every rumor. When asked about the case, Von would often say, "Me and Durk good. We solid." That kind of loyalty became part of their image. Unbreakable, untouchable. Brotherhood over everything. But as the months went on, the legal case evolved. Evidence was examined. Witnesses were questioned, and lawyers worked tirelessly behind the scenes. For a while, it seemed like the worst was behind them. Both continued to release music, tour, and expand their influence. Durk was climbing the Billboard charts, and Von was establishing himself as one of the most promising storytellers in modern rap. It felt like redemption was within reach. Then, tragedy struck. In November 2020, King Von was killed in Atlanta during a separate altercation, leaving the hip-hop world in shock. His death marked the end of an era, but it also reignited interest in the unresolved legal matters that had connected him and Lil Durk in the years before. Now, years later, the case that once tied their names together has resurfaced in headlines, this time with a new twist. A witness has reportedly come forward, introducing new information that could change the narrative around the entire situation. The story that once seemed closed has reopened, and Lil Durk's name is once again at the center of public attention. It was the night of February 5th, 2019, when Atlanta's nightlife pulsed with music, laughter, and flashing lights. The city was alive as usual, its clubs filled with energy, its streets buzzing with celebration. Among those enjoying the evening were two rising stars from Chicago, Lil Durk and King Von, close friends and collaborators who had come to Atlanta chasing success, not trouble. But that night would become a turning point, one that neither of them could ever have imagined. According to reports, the two were in the area for studio sessions and business meetings. They were surrounded by friends and associates, the kind of loyal circle that often traveled with them. It started out as a normal evening, calm, even joyful. But in moments, the atmosphere shifted. Outside a popular restaurant and lounge, tension began to build between groups of people. Voices were raised, and what began as an argument quickly spiraled into chaos. Witnesses later said they heard shouting, then the unmistakable sound of gunfire echoing through the parking lot. Screams filled the air as people ran for safety. When the dust settled, one man was left injured, his car struck by bullets. The Atlanta Police Department responded quickly, collecting footage from nearby cameras and speaking with bystanders who had seen the confusion unfold. As investigators started piecing together the puzzle, two names emerged that shocked both the media and the music world: Lil Durk and King Von. Both men had built reputations for turning their pain into art. They had escaped the violence of their hometown, found fame, and inspired millions to believe that redemption was possible. Now, their names were being linked to a shooting miles away from home. Within days, arrest warrants were issued. Instead of running, Durk and Von turned themselves in. Their mugshots flooded the internet, shared across every platform. Fans couldn't believe it. Two rappers who seemed to be finally breaking free from their past were now facing some of the most serious charges imaginable. They were accused of attempted murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The charges alone were enough to derail entire careers. Court proceedings began almost immediately, and the atmosphere around the case was electric. Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered, waiting for even a glimpse of the artists. Inside, prosecutors laid out their claims, pointing to video evidence and witness accounts. They alleged that the two rappers were connected to the altercation that night. But Durk's defense argued otherwise, that he was not directly involved, and that the prosecution's case relied on circumstantial evidence and speculation. Through it all, Durk remained calm. In court, he carried himself with quiet confidence, a far cry from the energy of his stage performances. He spoke few words, but when he did, his message was clear. He was innocent and determined to prove it. In later interviews, he said that he believed truth would always surface, no matter how long it took. The public reaction was immediate and divided. On social media, fans rallied under hashtags like #FreeDurk and #FreeVon. They insisted that the system was once again targeting successful young black men who had managed to rise from poverty. Others, however, felt the story reflected the dangers of living between two worlds, one of fame and one of the streets. Locate and prosecutors reportedly began to lose traction. Fans believed Durk had finally turned the corner, that the dark chapter of his life was coming to an end. But in the shadows, something was stirring. Quietly behind the scenes, a new element of the case was forming. Whispers of a witness, someone with information that could reopen the entire story. The idea alone was enough to reignite online speculation. What had this witness seen? Why had they waited so long? As rumors spread, fans grew anxious, and the name Lil Durk began trending again. Not for music, but for a case many believed was already over. What no one could predict was how this single testimony could breathe new life into a story thought to be finished, or how it could once again test Durk's resilience, reputation, and future. The stage was set for another dramatic twist, and the world was ready to watch it unfold. When the charges against Lil Durk and King Von were officially filed, the entire music industry turned its attention toward the courtroom. It wasn't just another legal story. It was the tale of two artists who had fought to rise above their pasts. Now, being dragged back into the system, they thought they had escaped. Every hearing felt like a public performance. Every statement turned into a headline. As the case unfolded, the prosecution built its argument on a mix of surveillance footage, witness testimonies, and circumstantial evidence. They claimed that both Lil Durk and King Von were seen near the scene of the shooting, that their vehicle had been identified, and that the timing of their movements raised questions. But when the defense got their turn, they dissected every claim piece by piece. Durk's legal team argued that no direct evidence placed him with a weapon, no fingerprints tied him to a gun, and no witness had clearly stated that he was responsible for any act of violence. They pushed back against the narrative, emphasizing that fame and notoriety often made artists easy targets for sensationalized charges. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was tense. Reporters filled the benches, whispering updates to their editors. Fans stood outside holding posters and chanting in support of Durk and Von. Each time they appeared before the judge, flashes from cameras lit up the entrance like a red carpet event. But behind the fame and noise, there was real fear. Fear that one wrong word or one misunderstood action could change everything. During one of the early hearings, the prosecution presented clips of what they claimed was security footage showing Durk's car near the scene. The defense responded swiftly, arguing that the footage was grainy, unclear, and failed to establish any proof of wrongdoing. The case began to feel more like a battle of interpretations than facts. Through it all, Lil Durk remained composed. He often walked into the courtroom wearing a plain suit, no jewelry, no entourage, just quiet focus. He was respectful to the judge, cooperative with his lawyers, and calm under pressure. People who had only known him from his music, where he spoke about pain, survival, and aggression, were surprised to see this side of him. It wasn't the rapper persona. It was the man behind it, determined to protect everything he had built. King Von's presence brought another layer of emotion to the proceedings. He would often stand beside Durk, his expression serious but supportive. Whenever cameras caught him entering or leaving the courthouse, he'd nod or smile slightly, showing loyalty without saying much. Their brotherhood wasn't just talk. It was visible even in those quiet, uncertain moments. As weeks turned into months, the case seemed to lose momentum. Key witnesses became harder to locate, memories began to fade, and the physical evidence didn't seem strong enough to secure a conviction. Legal analysts following the case started to suggest that the charges might eventually be reduced or even dismissed. Still, the weight of the accusations hung over Durk's career like a storm cloud. The media, of course, didn't make things easier. Every blog, gossip page, and YouTube channel had an opinion. Some spread false stories claiming Durk was already guilty. Others exaggerated the evidence or quoted anonymous sources. It became difficult to separate fact from rumor. But amidst all that noise, one truth remained. The case had not reached a verdict, and Durk was still a free man fighting for his name. During this period, Durk did something few expected. He stayed focused on his craft. While under bond restrictions, he kept releasing music. Instead of hiding, he turned his pain and frustration into verses. Each song carried hints of what he was going through. The sleepless nights, the anxiety, the distrust of the system. In one track, he rapped about staying loyal even when the world doubted him. A clear reflection of how he felt about his situation and his relationship with King Von. Inside the OTF camp, things were quiet. Lil Durk avoided interviews, focusing instead on his music. Insiders said he spent most of his time in the studio, using music as his therapy. He reportedly told his team that he wasn't worried, that he had faith in the truth. But those who have watched Durk's journey know that the past has a way of resurfacing when you least expect it. The media spun the story in every direction. One outlet claimed the witness was providing explosive new evidence. Another said the testimony was vague and unreliable. Fans didn't know who to believe anymore. Within hours, YouTube channels were posting breaking news videos with dramatic thumbnails and bold titles. Podcasts spent hours discussing possible outcomes. And while the world debated, Durk stayed silent. Silence can be powerful, but it can also be loud. His quietness made people even more curious. Fans began reading into every move he made. A single Instagram post became a topic of analysis. When he uploaded a black and white picture of himself in the studio with the caption, "Keep going," supporters flooded the comments with hearts and prayer emojis. They saw it as a message that he wouldn't let this situation stop him. But others interpreted it differently, saying he was hiding behind his success. The hip-hop community, however, largely stood by him. Artists who had come up in similar environments understood what Durk was facing. Some publicly voiced their support, saying that the justice system had a pattern of targeting rappers and misinterpreting their lifestyles. Durk been through enough, one rapper tweeted. Let that man live. Others reminded fans that speculation wasn't the same as evidence, that the courts, not social media, decide truth. Behind the scenes, Durk's team worked quietly but efficiently. His lawyers prepared for any possible reopening of the case. They reviewed old files, contacted witnesses, and built a defense strategy, just in case. They knew how quickly rumors could spiral into reality in the age of viral information. And while the internet continued to buzz, they kept their focus on facts. Durk himself, according to those close to him, was handling the situation with a calmness that only comes from experience. This wasn't his first time under the microscope. He'd faced trials before, in court, in life, and in the public eye. He'd learned how to stay grounded when the world seemed determined to shake him. Friends described him as focused but distant. He spent long nights in the studio, barely sleeping, pouring his thoughts into music. For Durk, music wasn't just his career, it was therapy. He'd always used it to express pain, confusion, and reflection. And now, with the world questioning him again, he went back to what he knew best. The beats got darker, the lyrics sharper, the emotion deeper. In one unreleased song snippet that circulated online, he rapped lines about trust, loyalty, and the fear of seeing old demons return. Fans immediately connected the dots. They knew he was talking about the case. While some fans focused on the drama, others admired how he handled the situation. He could have lost his mind. One fan commented under a video clip, But look at him, still focused, still creating, still standing. The loyalty of his fan base became one of his biggest strengths. They flooded the internet with messages of support, reminding people that until proven otherwise, Durk was still innocent. At the same time, the renewed attention brought emotional challenges. The mention of King Von's name in the headlines again stirred up grief. It had been years since Von's passing, yet every new article brought back the pain of losing someone so close. People close to Durk said he often avoided talking about the case altogether because it made him relive that trauma. It wasn't just about clearing his name, it was about protecting Von's memory too. The situation also sparked broader conversations in the music industry. Commentators pointed out how rappers often live under a microscope, where lyrics are treated like confessions and success is viewed with suspicion. Many argued that hip-hop artists are unfairly criminalized because of the stories they tell, stories rooted in reality but expressed through art. Durk's situation became part of that larger debate. As the weeks passed, the witness's alleged statement remained under review. No public documents were released, no official confirmation of new charges was made. But that didn't stop the speculation. Every blog claimed exclusive sources. Some said the witness had been pressured to come forward. Others claimed the testimony was exaggerated. Amid all this noise, Durk's silence became a statement in itself. It was as if he was saying, "I've survived worse. I'm not breaking now." The people around him noticed a change. He wasn't as outspoken as before, but he was more intentional. He spent more time with his family, more time in the studio, and less time online. He told those close to him that the internet didn't know the full story, and that time would reveal the truth. That calm, quiet confidence reminded many of how he handled the original case years ago. Not through shouting, but through patience and perseverance. Despite the negativity online, Durk's career didn't slow down. If anything, the attention made him bigger. His latest tours sold out in record time. His streaming numbers rose, and his fan base grew even more passionate. People were drawn not just to his music, but to his resilience. He had become a symbol of survival, someone who kept moving forward even when life tried to pull him back. Still, the shadow of uncertainty lingered. The witness testimony hadn't been made public yet, and no one knew what direction the case would take. For Durk, that uncertainty was the hardest part, not knowing if peace would last or if another fight was waiting just around the corner. But one thing was certain. This time, he wasn't the same person he had been years ago. He was wiser, more disciplined, and more aware of how quickly things could change. In private, those closest to him said he often reflected on everything he'd been through, the rise, the losses, the pain, and the lessons. He told them that his goal now wasn't just to prove people wrong, but to prove to himself that he could rise above anything. As the world waited for updates on the new testimony, the noise around him began to blur into background sound. It was chaos for everyone else, but for Durk, it was just another test, one more chance to show that no matter how many storms come his way, he knows how to stand tall until they pass. Time has a strange way of changing everything, except the truth. Months have passed since the story of the new witness testimony first broke. The noise that once flooded every social feed has started to fade, replaced by quieter conversations, reflection, and speculation. The King Von case, once again, has slipped back into that gray space between history and mystery, where questions echo louder than answers. King Von's name still carries weight in the streets, in the music, and in the hearts of fans who refuse to forget him. His lyrics are still quoted, his videos still watched, his stories still told. And through it all, Durk continues to honor him, making sure the world remembers the talent, not just the tragedy. Their bond was more than music. It was family, loyalty, and pain intertwined. It's about loyalty in a world where loyalty is rare. It's about surviving your own story, even when people try to rewrite it for you. And for fans, it's about understanding that behind every viral headline, there's a real person fighting battles most can't even imagine. As the world moves forward, Lil Durk's legacy continues to evolve. He's no longer just a rapper. He's a survivor, a storyteller, and a symbol of what it means to rise from the impossible. Every track he drops feels like another chapter, another confession, another moment of truth. And every time his voice hits a beat, it's a reminder that no matter how dark things get, faith and focus can still light the way. But maybe the most powerful part of this entire story isn't the drama, the case, or even the fame. It's the message. The one that says, you can come from pain and still find purpose. You can lose everything and still rise again. You can be doubted, hated, and tested, yet still come out standing stronger than ever. And that's exactly what Lil Durk has done. Microphone now. This is Rap Shock. And if you've made it this far, you already know what we're about. We don't just tell stories. We uncover the truth behind the story. We break down the legends, the pain, the loyalty, and the life lessons that shape hip-hop culture. So before you scroll away, take a second. If this story moved you, hit that like button. If you respect King Von and Lil Durk's journey, drop a comment below and tell us what you think about this case. Do you believe the witness testimony will change anything? Or do you think it's just another twist in an endless cycle of media attention? Your opinion matters. And trust me, we read every single comment. Subscribe to Rap Shock and turn on the notification bell because what's coming next is even bigger. We got exclusive breakdowns, untold stories, and deep dives into the real lives behind the music, the ones they don't talk about on mainstream media. Whether it's the rise of Chicago drill, the truth behind unsolved cases, or the hidden battles your favorite rappers fight every day, Rap Shock is where it all comes to light. This isn't just a channel. It's a community for those who listen deeper, who see beyond the fame, who respect the grind and understand the struggle. So, stay locked in, because the story of King Von and Lil Durk isn't just about music or the law. It's about survival, brotherhood, and the price of being real in a world that often punishes authenticity. This is Rap Shock, where the culture speaks and the truth never dies.